Welcome back to the Dropout 704 podcast. You are here with your host, Semaj Sinclair, and today we're going to talk about your talent. Because your talent is a waste if you have no output. What does that mean? You could be the most talented person in the world, and if you're not doing nothing, it really does not matter. You know, it's funny because I'm thinking about this right now, bro. I had one of my homies growing up. One of the best wrestlers, bro. And he wasn't really, it wasn't because he was super technical. It wasn't, literally he just had a natural gift for it. You know what I'm saying? Super talented dude. Would go in there, people who have been wrestling since they were 3-4 years old would go in there and manhandle them. Such a good athlete. Amazing, super talented. Did nothing with it. Didn't go to college for it. Didn't go to states. Didn't do this and that. And why? Because the talent isn't all that gets you there. And as an artist, that is something that I'm learning. Not even just with myself, but as an artist of any sort of capacity. Artist, business person, whatever. You know someone who is talented. Talented. You see their work. You're like, I cannot believe you're not famous. Maybe they're your friend who's a painter and you're like, oh, you could sell this. Maybe it's your friend who's a musician. You hear their music. You're like, oh, this is so good. Whatever. It's a cook. You eat their food. The list goes on. Talent is not what gets you there. Talent is just the first part of the puzzle. And honestly, I'll say this. I wouldn't even say talent is the first part of the puzzle. I think that talent is useful, but it's not the most necessary thing. I would much rather take someone with zero talent, but all the drive, determination, discipline in the world, rather than the person who has no drive, determination, and discipline and all the talent in the world. Because all that talent is nothing. Sometimes, even, I'm a talented person, and I think sometimes being talented could be a part of your downfall. You have so many options that you're like, man, I don't even know which one I'm going to go with. I don't even know what I'm going to pick because I could do literally everything, anything you set your mind to. That's a part of talent. But the thing is, right, a lot of times you can have all these options, but it's like, yo, are you about to do what it takes? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you got the options, you could do this and that, but are you going to do the work that's necessary? You could be the best painter in the world. If you don't have a portfolio, why does it matter? Portfolio is a huge thing. That's the issue I've fallen into before too, right? Say I think I'm a great video editor, right? But there's some opportunities I know I wouldn't be able to get because I don't have the portfolio to show it. And it's simply because my video editing, that's not the skill that I'm showing, the talent that I'm using or whatever. So I can't sit here and expect people to call on me to be that video editor. You know what I'm saying? As of right now, I want them to call on me to be the artist. And not only the artist, the person to help the people with the art, to whatever. At the end of the day, my boy Nux, he always says this. You gotta put belt to ass. Excuse my language, but that's truly it. You gotta put belt to ass. And that just means grinding. I know so I see this thing where people are like, you don't need to have this whole grind culture, hustle culture. I say it's a little bit of give and take. I think that there's a point where it does get unhealthy. You're not there for your family. You're not showing up for your moms, whatever. 100%. That's not where you want to be at. That's not the type of timing you want to be on. But like I said, I think that there is a time and place for it. I think that there's a time to be like, bro, belt to ass, grind. What, like, what do I do all day? I grind, bro. And I think the difference, and I could be wrong, but I think the difference between like really grinding and working hard, right? Because people are like, what's the difference between grinding and working hard? I think grinding is when you really don't know if the juice is going to be worth the squeeze at the end, you know? Especially when you're you're an artist, you're working on this huge thing. You don't know if the juice will be worth the squeeze. And I'm not saying that you can't be on your grind if you're working, blah, 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 but I think that's just the difference, right? Because if you're working hard, you know this paycheck coming. And honestly, depending on the job, sometimes you don't even got to work hard. You just got to show up. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the grind is different because no matter how much you show up, the payday is not guaranteed. And that's half of the battle. It's easier to go to something when you know, like, all right, this is guaranteed. When you know, it's like, it's almost a gamble, you know, but safer. It's a. I want to say safer, but it's really up to the person. And how safe of a gamble it is just how much output do you have. If you have low output, then yeah, you're gambling, all right. Because look at it like this, right? I use a lot of analogies. You hear for a reason. You get the vibes. If you're a singer, you're an artist, rapper, whatever, you put out one song, just one song, bro, what are the chances that it blows up? You put out 2 songs. Now you just doubled your chances of blowing up. 3 songs, tripled. 4, quadrupled. You get what I'm saying? So on and so forth. So right now, if you go look at the things that I'm building, because look, a lot of people, right? They get on here and they'll tell you, "Hey, do this, do that, blah blah blah," but they not in the trenches, bro. They not building. They already got it, and they just yapping, bro. I'm telling you these things that I'm applying, and it's not just me saying this too. I'm also learning these things. I watch so many people. I watch a lot of Gary Vee, a lot of this person, that person. But you know, I'm watching a lot of these things, and I'm trying it, applying it, and letting y'all know what's working, right? For me right now, I realize the best thing I could do is create catalog, because I could drop a song, someone could like it, but that don't mean that the next person gonna like it or the next person gonna like it. They could, don't get me wrong, but they could, right? But I look at it this way, right? I drop catalog because I drop a song. Person A don't like it, person B don't like it, but person C love it, right? Now that person C love it, they like, dang, if I only had one song, they like, dang, I want to see more of this. I want to consume more of this music, but I can't because they only have this one song out. So what do I do for person C? I give them more. And we live in a time where people are like, you can't give the people too much. You gotta, man, I'm not with none of that. And the reason I'm not with none of that is because I want to create. If you are an artist, make art. Point blank. Don't complicate. Oh, I don't want to devalue. Shut up, dude. Make art. Make art. And sometimes, like, I don't even like talking to artists about art, right? Because sometimes artists be so particular. Excuse me. You know, a painter, oh, you got to do it this way. Musician, oh, we got the EQ. Bro, make art. Express yourself. Express yourself. If I wanted to do things by the book, then I go to college for this. You know what I'm saying? But there's a reason that you're an artist. There's a reason you're doing things your way. And there's a reason you clicked on this video, because I'm speaking on the pain points of artists, right? What are issues with artists? We are all talented, right? But we all are trying to get our stuff out there, get ourselves out there. Everyone's trying not to be a starving artist, and the more that I do my research on how not to be a starving artist, I realize that so many people are not starving artists. So many people are not starving artists, and it's not because they're the next Basquiat or whoever. No, it's just because they are applying themselves. They are constantly working, constantly doing things. And I think that That's a big part of it, right? Putting your work out there. Today, I sold one of my coloring books. I've been working on this coloring book. I've been trying to sell it, whatever, looking up all these things. And then I realized the best way, what kind of vehicle? I realized that the best way for me to sell my art is to let people know that the art exists, right? Just keep talking about it. Hey, I made this. And especially as an artist, right? I see a lot of artists, they'll post something once, twice. Be like, no one liked it. Bro, promote your things forever. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Promote your things forever. If you make a piece of art, you don't promote it for just a week or 2 weeks, whatever. You promote that piece of art until you no longer like it. And if you love it forever, like a lot of my work, I love forever. There's things that I remove from my catalog, but the things that I have, everything that's public, I'm promoting. If it's public, I'm promoting it. Promote your work forever. A lot of people will be like, oh no, this is old. If someone has not heard it, it is new to them. It's that simple. People be like, oh, my, especially if you're making art, bro, like digital or physical art. I hate when people be like, oh no, this piece is too old or whatever. And also, be honest with yourself. What is the point of all the talent you have? I believe in God. I don't think God be doing stuff just because. I think everything's intentional. I think if you were blessed with a talent, it's because you were supposed to use that talent. Sometimes we don't know why we're supposed to use the talent. And when I say it's intentional, you don't realize how your art can change the world, right? Because your art doesn't have to change the world directly, but your art can impact the world in the way that you can make a piece of art that inspires something, that inspires someone who does something that changes the world. And without them witnessing your art, even though you don't realize it, even they might not realize it, it still has some sort of impact on them, which changes the trajectory of wherever they're going or whatever they want to do. So if you are a creative, create. I sound like a broken record, but that's important. It's important to create as a creative. I actually saw this guy. Oh man, I wish I could. If you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. This is on YouTube. If you listen it on Spotify, if you know who it is, shoot me a DM, whatever. It don't matter. But there's this guy who talked about artists. And he said that whenever artists do not create as much as they need to, they will physically get sick. Their body will physically get sick because it does not have what it needs in order to survive. I don't know the science behind it. But I think that if you have a calling, if you have something you're passionate about, you understand that. You understand the desire to do things. And I love when I meet people like that. I love when I meet people like that who like people who love their instrument, you know? Where they pick it up and they just can't help but play. It's like a fidget spinner to them. They just want to do that thing, you know? And I think as artists, as creatives, that's what we need to aspire to be. Because the talent means nothing if you're not applying it. If you're not applying it, you're just a person good at something. And yet, if you're not applying it, if you're not doing it all the time, then people are going to get better than you. And that's the thing, right? If you're already talented, if you work hard, you can actually become the best, easier than other people. But if you're talented and you don't want to work hard, the people who going to work harder than you going to be the best. You know, one of the best quarterbacks all time, Tom Brady. I'm not a football guy. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I know everything, right? But I've watched interviews where he says, like, bro, people weren't picking me. I wasn't fast. I wasn't strong. I wasn't first in nothing. But the only thing about me is I was working hard. I would be the hardest worker out on the field. Man, and I've seen it, bro. I've seen it, especially as a martial artist. If you don't know me yet, this is one of the first videos. They're like, dang, bro, this dude doing a lot. He making music. He drawing martial arts. Man, I'm creating. I'm creating, you know. And like I said, I believe that we were made in God's image. And what is God? God is the creator. God didn't say, hey, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to just do that. He made the most versatile thing. So I just feel like if we're made in his image, we are made to create. And for some people, they like to just create certain things. And I think that's beautiful. But for me, I realized that I can't limit my expression. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, in martial arts, you could be a talented guy. And then you'll see guys come in off the street, you know, that are great, right? They're so good, blah blah blah. And then you see another dude coming off the street and he is buns. But he shows up every day because he's committed to getting better. Give it 3-4 years. I'm going to give it to the guy who is more committed. A lot of times in competition, that's really what it boils down to, right? Not just who is the best, but how did you become the best? It was your commitment that got you to this place in the first place. If you weren't committed, you weren't putting the work in, then you wouldn't have been able to get where you got. And what's crazy is you've seen some people on this podcast who've literally got to the biggest stages. The biggest stages. And it's not because they were just so talented. It's because they worked hard. You know? And you've seen people on this very podcast who got to big stages. And if the hard work didn't meet the requirements, it also set them back a little bit. And that's a part of the game. You know? You win, you lose, but at the end of the day, that's the hard, and that's what I think that's the difference, right, between the hard work and the grind. If you're working hard to the point where, like, yo, if I stop working hard right now, like, I'm not, we can't, like, all right, I'm gonna say you in the grind. If you are grinding, you are working hard. But not everybody working hard is grinding. If that don't fully make sense to you, that's okay. That nugget's not for you. And I could elaborate on it, but I think it's better to say if that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. But for those of you who get it, you cannot be grinding without working hard, but every time you're working hard don't mean you grinding. I think that if that says something to you, it's almost better that I let you think on that and understand fully what that means to you rather than me just explain exactly how I view that, because you might even find more meaning in it than I have in it. And I don't want to limit that, because I know that is a powerful thing. And a lot of people will get caught up in it. A lot of people will get caught up in the hard work and not be on the grind. But that's their journey. That is their journey. This video's not about that per se. This video is about, if you have a talent, you got to use it. You have to utilize it. If you're not showing your talent, we're not going to know you're talented. And if we don't know you're talented, then we're not going to come to you for your talent. You know, it's literally that simple. It's that simple, yet we still overcomplicate it, even when we don't need to. And you might be saying like, all right, I'm talented, but I just don't feel motivated. I just don't. Okay, look, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't care. I don't care. Stop. I don't care about your motivation. Your motivation is not a part of this. But we do need to get you disciplined. And what I mean by that is, all right, figure out what I'm gonna give you the actual roadmap on how to be more creative. If this doesn't work for you, I'm giving you the sauce. Giving it to you. I'm not telling you to pay me I'm giving you the sauce. This is how you're going to be more creative. You have to give yourself daily deadlines. I don't mean like, oh, this year. No, daily deadlines of things that you need to have done. On that, whatever. If you need to do like, okay, 2 days, blah blah blah. If it takes you 2-3 days for a project, whatever. But you need these deadlines. Honestly, no. If it takes you 2-3 days for a project, then you could still make deadlines because it's like, okay, day 1, I need to be done with at least this. Day 2, I need to be done with at least this. You get what I'm saying? You need daily deadlines. Things that you have to accomplish, right? Boom. When are you going to accomplish these daily deadlines? You need to set aside time. A lot of artists say, I don't have time for art. You don't make time for art. You need to set aside time. What is the most optimal time for you to do this? What is the most sustainable time? For me, it's in the morning. My work day starts later in like afternoon, you know. So my productivity time, my like peak hours, in the morning, 8 o'clock, right? I'll wake up, I'll rip a couple videos, do what I gotta do a couple edits by 11. I'm trying to get some art done, right? Tonight, I know by 11 o'clock, I have to see that gym. These are like my requirements. And you don't need to stack your day up crazy. I'm on a different kind of grind. You know what I'm saying? But if I could do that, you could easily say, all right, boom, I'm going to draw a little bit. I'm going to draw 30 minutes today. I'm going to draw 30 minutes a day. Edit 30 minutes, whatever it is. Tell me whatever it is. Comment what you do down below. And I will either come and tell you how you could do it, or someone else will comment and let you know. Bro, you could find a way. If you drawing, if you painting, if you singing, if you making music, all right, look for beats, whatever. Work on making beats. Record demos. You could do stuff. Especially today's day and age, you have, like, back in the day, there were so many excuses. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Not an excuse anymore. You could look it up on the internet, tutorial for everything. Oh, I don't have the access to blah, blah. There's an app for that. Oh, and though I don't have this, bro, you could look, you could find a way, or you could find an excuse. I'm trying to help the people trying to find a way. I think for a long time I was trying to convince people to stop making excuses. I don't got time for that no more. So like if you're watching this and all you want to do is make excuses, respectfully, like you're at a different stage, and what I'm saying won't even, if honestly, if all you're doing is making excuses, you probably have not even made it this far in the video. If you're this far in the video, I know you're about it. I know you're trying to lock in. You're like me, you know what I'm saying? And if you're like me, then bro, connect with me. And when I say bro, I'm not just talking to the bromies, the dude homies. I'm talking to the gromies too. The girl homies, the glurmies, the glurmies, the glurms, the homie, the girl home, the glomes. Whatever. I'm talking to everybody, you know what I'm saying? Connect with me. Hit me on the ground, you know what I'm saying? I'm currently working on a school group. I haven't fully decided how I want to do that yet, but if you have some ideas about the school community, also drop that down below. We're going crazy with the podcast. We're going crazy on the socials. Get me, Semaj Sinclair, on everything. Multiple YouTube channels. consistent on all, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thank you guys for watching this episode. Love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.